Hey, good morning, guys. Yes, it is. It is Tuesday, the 28th of July. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I think I'm not the only one. So, I thought this would be a good topic for today is you need to stay focused and you need to stay on top of things or things are going to go sideways. So, stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric. If you didn't already know it, yep, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Tuesday, the 28th of July of 2026. So, what the heck am I talking about? Priorities and sideways and all this other crap, right? Well, it's staying focused on business. And if you're running a repair shop, whether it be automotive or small engine, what doesn't matter, you have customers, right? Hopefully, because if you don't have customers, you're not going to be in business very long. But if you don't do it in a fair amount of time, you're going to have those customers that say, I want it yesterday, and then call you an hour after they drop it off to see if it's ready yet. I mean, we all get those. But I'm talking about the ones that have waited for weeks to get their mower back, and you still haven't got to it yet. And the reason you haven't gotten to it yet is you forgot it was there. Even worse is if you meet a customer on the street. I run into this all the time. I'll see a customer in the grocery store. They're like, Eric, can you come out and pick up, my lawnmower and see what's going on with it and get it back to me? And I'm like, sure. So in the rest of the grocery store, I forget. I don't write it down. I don't make a mental note. And come Monday morning, I'm still not I forgot all about them. This is why I have notes everywhere. I mean, I have a notepad in the truck so I can keep track of notes there. I've got a notepad at my desk where I can keep track of calls, who called. And the thing I do is I write down their phone number, their first name, and what the issue is. And then if it's a lawnmower that needs to be picked up, I have a yellow, what do they call those things? Do over top of for studying and everything. But I run one of those over it to say we need to take care of that, and then I'll in the my notebook I'll take a pen and I'll draw a line across it as I clear them. So I know that I've already taken care of it. But I keep every notebook because it has a lot of valuable information. It's got names, phone numbers, machines, issues that I can look back on. But it's like case in point, we had here 2 weeks ago, we had a fellow that's been our customer for years. We had power outages, okay? And he went out and he started his fairly new generator, ran for about 5 minutes and it quit. And he gave me a call, kind of all panicky, of can you come get it and can you come out here and get it fixed here so that I have power? And I didn't get it till the following morning. He sent a message through Facebook. So I sent him a message back saying, do you have power on now? And he said, yes. So I said, there's no big yank on the generator, right? And he said, I would like it done as soon as possible because I have a whole incubator full of chicken eggs, that he's trying to get hatched. And he said, if the power goes out, then they can't keep the heat on them or something like that, just to run that. They don't care about the power in the house. It's got to be for those eggs, right? So I told him, I said, let me see what I can do to free up my schedule. Next day comes, and it's like, are you going to come fix my generator? And I'm looking at my yard. I got a full yard. I'm asking, do you have power? And are you worried about losing power today or something? I'll bring a generator out if you want a generator. And it's like, well, I think it's just a carburetor issue. And I said, well, if you want, drain the fuel out of it, clean the, drain the carburetor bowl, put it back on, see what happens. So he shoots me a message back saying, don't bother coming out. I got it fixed. I took the carburetor bowl off, like you said, and I cleaned it with carburetor cleaner. And I drained the gas out of it, put fresh gas in. It's running great. If you didn't respond to that customer, you would have lost them, I guess is what I'm getting at. I stayed in contact with him. This one thing I don't do is if somebody sends me a message, the minute I see it, I respond. One way or another. It's either let me see what I can do, or yes, the answer is, or no, we don't do that, you know? But I even see that at the shop where we'll have so many things going on. The tendency is to knock out the easy stuff first and work on the harder stuff later, which is there's no common sense to that, guys. It's quick fix money, yes, out the door, get paid quick, but then you're stuck with a bunch of units that you're going to be spending time on that are still paying jobs, but would have been a lot better if you did a service on one, repair on that one, first come in, first serve, first out the door, right? Unless you're waiting for parts. But we've all done this before, you know, start and think, well, the best thing to do is knock out all the service work first because that's the quickest. We can do that, get it in, get it out, and clear the yard of service stuff and get it back and get paid, right? And that's great. But those customers that needed repairs done that's still sitting there 2 weeks later are not happy campers. And I wouldn't be a happy camper either if I found out that 12 other mowers came before mine and they came well after mine because they were a quick fix for the shop. No, mine was there for 2 weeks, and you mean you haven't touched it yet? That's what I mean. You got to be laser focused and you need to run your shop first in, first out. That means if you do a service work, repair work, service work, repair work, that you're knocking them all out at the same time instead of all the easy ones, right? And then you're stuck with the pain in the ass ones and the ones that take longer. The only time that, you know, when it comes to the bigger jobs, you guys know in our shop that I try to push those guys towards the winter months, like the tractor rebuilds, the tractor clutches that need to be replaced, and this and that, seals for axle seals. Those things I try to push my customers to have done in the fall through the spring because that's our slow time. Giving me a call and asking me to get an old Jubilee running that's been sitting for 3 years in June is not going to fly. You know, yes, I want the job, but that's going to be a winter job. It hasn't run in 3 years. That means the fuel in it is varnished, and it means it's going to be a total teardown of the whole fuel system to get it cleaned out, right? Do I still take those jobs on? Yes, but we just picked up the Jubilee. It's here to get running, convert to 12 volt, and paint. Okay. And when the guy talked to me, he said, can you do this and this? Yes, we can do it as long as you're not in a hurry. Because this time of year, if there's a mower in the yard, I'm going to clear them first. And then as time permits, I will work on your tractor, right? This happens in life too, guys, that if you don't stay on top of things, it's like having appointments that you're supposed to be at, not writing them down, not looking at it, and then using the excuse I forgot. See, I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning at 6:45, and that's all I've got a sticky note at the computer at the shop. I got a sticky note right here that says you need to be at the health center at this time in the morning, right? Because if I don't, I will forget. And they know I will forget because of my not all there. And they actually called me last night and said, Eric, are you for sure coming? Yes, I'm coming. Why wouldn't I be coming? Oh, they double check and triple check. You could do that thing for so long in your home life of trying to do the quick fixes first and then tackling the harder issues later on. It just compounds it. Instead of just taking care of it when it takes place, if you let it sit there and simmer and boil, and it's not going to be a good thing, right? What's the better way? The better way is to just take it as it comes in, decide how you're going to react, decide how you're going to do things, and then take care of it. It may be something that is out of your control. I tell you this, that the only one you have control over is you in this life. Okay? If it's somebody else that's causing a lot of problems and stuff, you need to put it up to God and let Him worry about it, because there's not a darn thing you can do to change somebody else. You can try, but it's wasted breath, right? Until they want to change, they're not going to change. They're going to continue doing whatever they are. And that's why it never ceases to amaze me. People get together, you know, couples, with one thinking they can change the other's behaviors, and then pissed off 4 or 5 years down the road when the behaviors are still the same, if not worse. Hey, you come into this with both eyes open. You just thought that you had the power of God to control somebody else, and you don't. You don't. The only one you can control is you. So if this isn't working for you and the behaviors that are going on with the other person are not kosher with you, then you need to step out of it. That's in your control. Okay? You can step out and say, I've had enough and I'm going to just lead a more calm life. Something that I'm going to get enjoyment out of, instead of screaming and hollering and fighting all the time because you keep coming in from the bar at 2 o'clock in the morning. Doesn't work well, guys. But no, it doesn't matter whether you're running a repair shop or a home life. The same thing applies, that you need to keep focused on what's in front of you. And if you have appointments you need to get to, then you need to write it down and get to the appointments. It's simple as that, right? And if you have stuff that's on the table, it could be issues with kids or, in-laws or what have you. The quicker you get it on the table in front of you, digest it and move on and get through it, the better off you are going to be and everybody else around you is going to be. Everybody around you is not always going to be 100% happy with the way you do things. They aren't. They're going to try to change you because you're doing things that maybe put pressure on them because of their actions, right? Do I take other people into consideration when I'm making a decision? Absolutely. You have to. You can't be, well, what's the right word for it? Egotistical, narcissistic, bastard that, and all you think about is yourself, and it's always somebody else's fault, right? I'm the opposite. I always take the blame. Whatever's going on around me, I blame myself for it, for allowing it, and I take care of it. If it's bothersome that much, I will take care of it. And that I've had in the past where I had to cut people out of my life for a while. I just couldn't take their toxic behavior. And that's okay to take a step back and say, I'm not going to deal with this. God didn't put me here to be berated by somebody else constantly. Okay. My life here is short enough. I want to be happy. I want to have relationships, and I want to have memories to go with. Period. So in the comments, right? Am I the only one that forgets appointments and everybody around me keeps reminding me? Claude even knows I have an appointment tomorrow morning, and he'll be the first one to, He'll tell me a couple times today, you got an appointment in the morning at 6:45. You better be there. Yep. This happens a lot. And if you allow things to get behind and you're not taking care of business and you're not taking care of mowers that need repairs and you're not taking care of issues in your hemisphere, it's going to bite you in the ass. You can't avoid making decisions. You need to decide, put your little line in the sand and say, this is where I'm at. And this is the decision you don't need to be the Ayatollah Khomeini and think that you're a supreme being and think the whole family's going to fall in line. No, because you don't have control of them. You have control of yourself. And as a dad, I want my kids to respect me, but I also want them to be where they come to me if they're having issues or what have you. And as a husband, I want respect, but I give respect. And I don't want someone coddling me all the time because I don't need it. I'm very independent. And that's who I like being with is someone else is very independent because then you don't need to be together. You want to be together, if that makes any sense. So on that note, you guys have a great Tuesday and we'll be back here bright and early tomorrow morning. I might be a little bit late on getting up the edit if I got to be out of here by 20 after 6 to go for my yearly checkup. On that note, you guys have a great day.